A continuación, vamos a tener la presentación del proyecto Construyendo Resiliencia en la Adolescencia, mejorando la calidad de vida de los adolescentes con problemas de salud mental en Colombia, estudio BRICs. Presenta la doctora Victoria Jane Bird y Dili Stanislaus. La doctora Victoria Jane Bird es la co-investigadora principal del proyecto BRICs. Trabaja en la unidad de Psiquiatría Social y Comunitaria de la Universidad Queen Mary de Londres. Dili Stanislaus es una investigadora de la Unidad de Psiquiatría Social y Comunitaria de la Universidad Queen Mary de Londres. La doctora Bird presentará de forma remota las generalidades del proyecto BRICs y Dili nos va a presentar las actualizaciones como tal del estudio. Bienvenida.
Want to reproduce the yeah, sure.
Hi, my name is Victoria Bird and I'm a Professor of Mental Health Care at Queen Mary University of London. I'm the UK Principal Investigator for the Building the Resilience of Adolescents in Colombia study, or BRICs as we like to call it, which I run alongside Professor Gomez Restrepo. BRICs focuses on developing and testing a new technology-based intervention to improve the mental health and quality of life for adolescents who are experiencing common mental health problems such as anxiety and depression and are based in Colombia. So why is BRICs important? Well, we all know that adolescence is a time of great emotional, social and physical development. Individuals undergo many changes during this critical time period, and it is also a time when individuals may be particularly vulnerable to experiencing mental distress, including periods of anxiety or depression. In fact, it is estimated that up to 12% of adolescents in Colombia experience mental health problems, and these rates are increasing, particularly following the global pandemic and the impact of lockdown on adolescent mental health. Risk factors for mental health include things such as exposure to violence, armed conflict, poverty, social isolation, and being displaced from your home. Within Colombia, adolescents and young people actually make up 25% of the population, and many individuals are exposed to multiple risk factors for poor mental health. Yet despite this, access to age-appropriate and effective mental health care can be problematic. So here in the UK and with our colleagues in Colombia, we're looking at new ways that we can support mental health, whether that's in schools or in the community. It's our aim within the BRICs study to develop and test a new intervention to help improve the routine care provided for individuals who are experiencing common mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. We aim to achieve this by focusing on an intervention which is evidence-based called Dialogues Plus. This was introduced by my colleague Francois in the previous presentation. Unlike the GLOBE study, which is focusing on adults, we have already adapted Dialogue Plus to suit the needs and lives of adolescents in Colombia. This involved working with groups of young people to decide on the most important areas of life, as well as adapting how we ask the questions so that they were understandable and clear to people of that age. We're now wanting to test our adapted dialogue intervention, which we've called Dialogue A, to see if it can help young people overcome periods of anxiety and depression, and whether it can improve their mental health and their quality of life in general. And we're doing this in a range of settings. This includes working with health centres in Duitama and Bogota, as we wanted to include individuals from more than one area to see what works and what doesn't work. We're also aiming to develop guidelines for health professionals. This will help them to implement Dialogue A within their routine practice, and we hope that this will encourage wider uptake and dissemination of the intervention and all of the materials beyond the end of the study. As mentioned, to achieve our aims, we're going to be working with a number of young people, but also clinicians who work in health centres in Duitama and Bogota, and my colleagues working alongside the project are also working on arts-based projects so that we can ensure that adolescents are given voice in our project. This includes working in education settings where we know that mental health is an ever-increasing important area. We know that many young people turn to schools and education settings to get the help and support that they need for their own mental health. So in summary, BRICs is an exciting collaboration between experts in the UK and based here in Colombia. Not only does it have the potential to develop a new and effective treatment, and this is for individuals particularly with anxiety and depression, We also want to use participatory arts-based methods to give voice to adolescents to ensure that their voice and their opinion is present throughout our research. Thanks ever so much for listening.
Great. Maybe a bit lower because I'm short. So that was Vicky. She just gave us an overview of the BRICs project, and I'm just going to give you guys an update of where we are right now. So work package 1 was about adapting Dialogue Plus to the adolescent population in the Colombian context. It's also important to note that work package 1 was initially planned to take place in person, but since it happened during the pandemic, we had to shift to online platforms. So we conducted online focus group to obtain the perspective of users, key stakeholders, and gatekeepers regarding the appeal and usability of the intervention. There was a total of 10 online focus groups with 3 to 7 participants in each of those groups, 3 with adolescents, 2 with parents, 2 with teachers and youth workers, and 3 with clinicians, and each of them lasted anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half. We also had a small-scale pilot study with 8 primary healthcare clinicians and 23 adolescents with anxiety and/or depression. And all of them received a total of 3 Dialogue Plus sessions, 1 per month. And again, the sessions either took place online or in person, depending on the parents' availability to take their child to the sessions or the COVID-19 restrictions at the time. Post-pilot interviews were also conducted with 7 clinicians and 10 adolescents. So based on the work package 1 findings, these are the sort of adaptations that we made to the Dialogue Plus intervention. We added school to the job situation domain, seeing as our target population are adolescents. Accommodation was changed to home, and leisure activities was changed to hobbies or pastime to reflect the language that adolescents in Colombia use. The original Dialogue Plus intervention had the family and partner domain under one section, which makes a lot of sense because a lot of adults are in long-term committed relationships and oftentimes have children and so are considered a family unit. But the adolescents felt that they would rather have family as one domain and include the romantic partners within the friendship domain, as at that age, a lot of them consider their partner as a friend more so than family. And the final domain that we changed within the life domain was personal safety, and it was changed to environmental safety, as we were mainly interested in how safe they felt in their neighborhoods, town, or country. In the treatment aspect, we removed the practical help domain. This caused a lot of confusion both for adolescents and clinicians, and overall it felt that it wasn't so applicable to the adolescent population, so we removed that domain. And the adolescents requested that a substance abuse domain be added because they felt that this was a major issue within their age group. So once all those changes were made, Dialogue Plus got transformed to Dialogue A. The adapted intervention Dialogue A will be tested in an exploratory randomized controlled trial as part of Work Package 2. The study will take place across 4 sites, 3 in Bogota, Javi Salud, El Tintal, and Kafam, and 1 in Duitama, Salud del Tundama. I hope the pronunciation wasn't butchered. Each clinician will recruit 6 participants aged 13 to 16, and they'll have to screen positive for anxiety and or depression, and this will be defined as a score of 7 or above on the self-reporting questionnaire. Individual clinicians will also be randomized 2 to 1, favoring the intervention group, and the Dialogue A will be delivered once per month for 6 months. The primary outcomes that we're interested in is the PHQ-8 and GAD-7, but there are also secondary outcomes that we will be looking at, which includes quality of life, mental health symptoms, social support, empowerment, self-esteem, and resource use. In terms of where we are with Work Package 2, so we began recruitment in March 2022, so just 2 months ago. All 18 clinicians have been recruited, and most of them were recruited from the pilot study. 48 participants are eligible to participate in the study so far, and 23 have completed informed consents and baseline assessments, and 9 have already completed their first Dialogue A session, and 2 have completed their second session as well. I should have also just mentioned previously that for the pilot study, all participants attended all Dialogue A sessions, which is a very good early indication of the sort of feasibility and acceptability of this intervention, which, so we're quite hopeful for the outcome of Work Package 2. Work Package 3, which hasn't started because we're waiting for the exploratory trial to be complete, we will start thinking about the implementation strategy to promote upscale and to promote upscale and uptake of Dialogue A in routine practice to improve the health outcomes of adolescents with depression and anxiety. In order to do this, we'll conduct in-depth interviews with individuals in the intervention group to discuss their experience of receiving or delivering Dialogue A. This will include 20 adolescents who received the intervention and all clinicians who delivered the intervention. In order to maximize variation, participants will be purposefully sampled based on those who engaged and those who disengaged during the research, people with both positive and negative views of the intervention, and also based on participant characteristics such as gender and social demographics. To involve adolescents in research, we set up a participatory ask-based project, as Vicky mentioned in the video, to encourage their engagement within research and for their voices to be heard. This project ran between June 2021 and January 2022. To reduce repetition, I won't say much more on this because my colleague Sarah Valdez, who was the arts coordinator for this project, will shortly present in much more detail and probably better than I ever could the work that they did as part of Work Package 4. So I will leave that to her. So those 4 work packages are basically all the activities of the BRICs project, so I just thought we'd move on to the papers that we've disseminated so far. So 1 paper has been published so far, and this paper shared the experience of the facilitators conducting online focus group through a web conferencing service and provided recommendations for future research. And to the best of our knowledge, this is the first paper to explore the experience of online focus group in LMICs. So it's actually quite a unique paper that we've managed to publish. And there's currently 1 other paper that's under review, and that's on the stakeholder perspectives on the Dialogue Plus intervention for improving the mental health of adolescents in Colombia. And there are 2 papers that are nearly ready for publication, and that's the pilot paper findings and the protocol paper for the exploratory RCT. Finally, there's also a BRICs website, and we are also on various social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We just feel that it's important to share updates, findings, and other sort of project-related news on a platform where it's more likely to be seen by the adolescents. If you're interested in finding out more about the project and the outcome of the exploratory trial, please do give us a follow. And yeah, thank you for listening.